Hey gang, we're out of the basement today for a quick update on the bell ringer to virtual pinball project. I've been making a little bit of progress. You may have shown this already. I don't know. The back box has been completely sanded and painted black. It's a bit dirty today because I've been doing some work. I brought it back outside. I've actually taken it down to the basement and now it's outside again. I've been thinking about what to do with the display on the front. Do I mount it somehow? Do I put plexiglass over the front? Do I put glass? Still had to mount the speakers, still had to mount the monitor somehow. And then I decided, wait a minute, there's already some notches in the thing where the original back glass slid down in. The lock bar, well, it's not really a lock bar, but locking bar across the top of the back box secured it down so you didn't see the top of it. And I thought, well, what am I going to do? And finally I decided, you know, with the MAME cabinet, I took a piece of 1/2-inch plywood, cut out a hole for the monitor, put a small hole in to reset the monitor, and called it good. So my solution for this was something similar, and this is it. This is a 1/2-inch sheet of plywood, not plywood, MDF. And what I've done is, as you can see here, this is one side looking down on it. I'm actually looking up. This is another side looking up. And this is the bottom. So from the bottom edge, the side edges, I've cut them out so that, if you haven't guessed it yet, they will fit right in the pre-existing slots. And it's close enough. If you look real closely, and I don't know if you can, I wrote front on here, I wrote bottom at the top. Because originally this was going to be at the bottom, and when I was test fitting it, it got stuck. I took a hammer and pounded it up, and I kind of tore out a little bit of the MDF. So I decided I'll flip it over, because I'm going to cut that part out anyway for the notch for the bottom. So it worked out. So that's where that stands. Now I can cut speaker holes in that, cut a hole for the monitor. I may end up just cutting the thing in half, depending on how big the monitor is. It's been a while since I've looked at it. Have to see. But I did it all for our friend, Mr. Table Saw. Say hi to the kids, Mr. Table Saw. Hi, kids. Thank you, Mr. Table Saw. Yeah, yeah, it's a bit stupid. Anyway, I adjusted the fence close, and I'd run a pass through, raised up the blade a little bit at a time till I cut away enough of it. Suppose I could have used a router for it, but this was already out here, and I'd have to go downstairs and dig out the router, set it up, and figured I'll just be done with it. Outside of creating a mess on the floor, it wasn't too bad. But I can sweep that up. As far as other updates to the cabinet itself, I have to turn on some lights. But I've been painting. There, that helps a whole bunch, doesn't it? I thought so. The front of it is painted red. I believe that's pretty much ready to go. That side still has gray primer, which is why you can't see a whole lot of it. A little bit of overspray. The back is back in black. So it's just going to be plain black. Nobody's going to see it, so I get fancy with it. And there's the original bell ringer back glass, which I had out here to kind of get measurements from. And on this side, still see the gray primer, but I've started to paint in a red and black angle to it. Still need to finished up. There's going to be some white and gray and more red in the sides, but that's progressing nicely. But I wanted to have a plan and get something going with the back box, so in case I ran into an issue I could deal with it. I've also, for the play field, the monitor's not as wide as the whole opening on the top of the cabinet, so I'm going to have to make a frame of some sort and deal with that. And I'm not quite sure how I'm going to be doing that, but figured I'd be needing some strips of wood or MDF or something to make it out of. So I just went and got a 4x8 sheet. I didn't know how long, didn't measure before I went. I thought, well, I'm going to do the back box and the side pieces to make the frame. I'll use most of it anyway. And there's a scrap piece from cutting out for the back box piece. So progress is progress. And yes, there is the gaping hole on the top of the back box where the original Fleischer is going back in. Doubt if I'm going to hook it up to the game, but it will still be functional nonetheless. So anyway, it's making progress, and next time we'll be back to the basement. I don't think I've done an update on the firepower machine that I got. That's been around for a month and a half now. Plays good. Still has work that needs to be done on it, but it's functional. So anyway, it's getting there. And today is August the 9th. It's a Saturday. It's the 10th. I forget. I don't know. What I do know is I want to have the painting done by Labor Day, so I can work on assembly and get it out of the garage and into the basement. Because winter is going to be coming, as is evidenced by the little snowman over here. So we're going to have to do something. And I do have family obligations. Such as last weekend when I went down to Purdue for the International Jugglers Association annual festival. So anyway, as far as cutting things out goes, I did use Mr. Circular Saw. Hi kids. Yeah. And a new tool that I got around Christmas time to cut straight, it's a straight edge clamp. Not to be confused with the broom, but clamps onto the wood. First time I used it today, because I knew I could have used it for the MAME cabinet, and it worked out nicely today. Outside of getting a whole bunch of MDF dust in it, worked good. So anyway, sun's starting to head down. Tomorrow's another day, so I'm going to start cleaning up for tonight. But that's the latest update on the MAME cabinet. Not MAME cabinet. Virtual pinball cabinet.